Scorpio, if your eyes have landed here, it's not by chance. You were guided but pulled by a quiet knowing, that subtle stirring in your chest that tells you something unseen is moving in your favor. You've felt it lately, haven't you? That strange tension in the air, the shifting dynamics around you, the energy of people acting differently, too polite, too silent, or too distant. What you're sensing isn't paranoia, it's spiritual truth. Someone has been trying to edge you out of a space, a circle, a plan, whispering your name behind closed doors, doubting your worth, or attempting to dim your presence. But here's the divine secret. They have no power over a soul protected by purpose. This narrative is a mirror, a reflection of a potential timeline, a story whispered into the universe for those who are meant to hear it. This is a journey into one grand possibility, a thought experiment for the soul. If this story resonates with you, Scorpio, if it awakens a dormant part of your intuition and makes you feel seen in a way you haven't felt before, then take what you need from it. Hold on to the parts that feel true. If it does not, simply let it pass by like a cloud on a windy day, for not every story is for every soul. This is an invitation to explore the power that already resides within you, the power to attract profound and radical change, whether it arrives through a closed door suddenly reopening, or through the quiet hand of divine justice moving unseen in your life. Now breathe, in through your nose, out through your heart. Let that breath remind you, you are safe here, you are seen here, you are protected here. Scorpio, someone has underestimated the force that surrounds you. They thought you were standing alone, but you never were. God's protection doesn't make noise, but it makes movements that no one can undo. While others were plotting in whispers, heaven was already rewriting the outcome. That's why lately doors that seemed to close didn't feel final. You can sense it. Something is being rerouted in your favor. It's as though the universe has quietly been rearranging the stage, moving people, places, and timing. Not to punish you, but to position you. You see, Scorpio, divine protection rarely looks like an easy path. It often disguises itself as rejection, misunderstanding, or delay. But every time someone pushed you away, heaven pulled you closer. Every time you were excluded from something you thought you wanted, you were being protected from what would have weakened you. And every time you were misunderstood, it was because your spirit was speaking a language their ego couldn't comprehend. You are not being pushed out when you are being set apart. In the unseen, something sacred has been taking place. There is a spiritual transaction happening behind the curtain of your reality, an exchange of burdens for blessings, confusion for clarity, injustice for divine correction. Someone's manipulation, Scorpio, has reached its expiration date. Every hidden agenda, every false alliance, every mask, they can't stand under the weight of truth much longer. The universe is patient, but precise. God's timing may not always align with your clock, but it never misses. It's a shield. The divine often removes you from the crowd right before revealing who was never meant to walk your next path. There's a separation happening, not because you're being punished, but because you're being elevated. Some can't go where you're going, not because they're bad, but because they're unready for your level of light. You've been through too much transformation to return to old vibrations. When your spirit begins vibrating higher, it triggers two reactions in people: recognition or resistance. Those aligned with truth will rise with you. Those aligned with ego will reject you. And that rejection, as painful as it feels, is actually divine proof of your evolution. Don't shrink for anyone trying to make you doubt your worth. They see your glow and feel their shadows trembling. What's happening now, Scorpio, is spiritual law unfolding. There is divine justice in motion, subtle, surgical, and unstoppable. Those who acted in deceit are facing their own mirrors, not because you cursed them, but because energy always returns home. What they wished upon you has begun circling back, reforming into lessons they cannot escape. And you? You are the proof that peace is louder than revenge. You are the evidence that grace can outshine every scheme. There's a verse written across the vibration of this moment. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. That doesn't mean weapons won't form. It means they won't work. The arrows may fly, but they'll miss. The traps they set will only catch their own shadows. God's protection doesn't always prevent storms. Sometimes it lets the thunder roll just long enough to expose the truth. And when the dust settles, the one who stood in faith, not fear, remains standing. That's you. And Scorpio, hear this clearly. No amount of gossip, lies, or energy manipulation can override what heaven has already decreed. God does not take counsel from your enemies before blessing you. The divine doesn't ask permission to elevate you. The very people who tried to push you out may soon find themselves watching you step into spaces they can't reach. That's not revenge. That's divine reordering. The scales are balancing, and you are on the side of truth. But this isn't about watching others fall. It's about you rising with integrity. The higher you go, the less noise you make. There's no need to defend your character, to prove your worth, or to explain your silence. Silence is your shield now. Let your peace speak louder than their projections. God is already dealing with the energy behind the scenes. You don't need to involve yourself in earthly battles when heaven has already ruled in your favor. The more you let go of trying to control outcomes, the faster your blessings will find you. Divine protection works best when you surrender to trust. Think of it like standing in a storm. You can fight the rain and get drenched, or you can stand still, knowing it's washing something away. That's what's happening now. Every false attachment is dissolving. Every hidden plan is collapsing. Every disguise is unraveling. And when the storm clears, you'll see how much brighter your path has become. Right now, your energy field is expanding. You might feel strange waves of emotion, sudden sadness, tears, or bursts of peace that seem to appear out of nowhere. That's your nervous system recalibrating to a new frequency. It's the moment your body catches up to what your soul already knows. You are safe. You've survived the shadow phase of this cycle. What remains is the reward. You may also notice signs appearing everywhere. Feathers, coins, number sequences like 1111, 444, 888. These are not coincidences. They are divine postmarks confirming your alignment. 444 means you are surrounded by protection. 1111 means the gateway is open. 888 is the vibration of restoration, financial, emotional, spiritual. Each time you see these, whisper softly, I am protected. I am provided for. I am prepared. The universe responds to the tone of your faith, not the volume of your fear. It's also time to start reclaiming your space. Clean your home, reorganize your sacred corners. Light a candle, gold for abundance, violet for protection. As the flame flickers, say, I release what is not mine, and I receive what is meant for me. That single sentence is enough to reset your energy. You don't have to do elaborate rituals to call back your power. Your intention alone is the prayer. Scorpio, those who tried to push you out were actually pushing you into destiny. You see, when people plot against the chosen, they're unknowingly playing their role in prophecy. Every Judas carries Jesus to his purpose. Every betrayal pushes you closer to revelation. Every setback builds spiritual muscle. This is not the end of your story. It's the unveiling of who you were always meant to be. And the most beautiful part, God's protection doesn't just defend, it elevates. You're not being saved from something. You're being saved for something, a greater purpose, a higher calling, a platform that requires exactly the strength you've been building through every heartbreak and misunderstanding. The rejection was the redirection. The exile was the preparation. You'll soon notice that what you thought you lost wasn't loss. It was clearing. The friendships that faded were contracts expiring. The jobs that ended were seasons concluding. The opportunities that vanished were placeholders for better ones already on their way. The universe never subtracts without multiplying later. And when you rise, and because you will, rise quietly. Let your glow speak. The same mouths that once doubted you will whisper in disbelief. But remember, this isn't your victory to flaunt. It's your miracle to honor. You didn't get here by luck. You got here by endurance, by trusting when it didn't make sense, by forgiving when it wasn't easy. That is divine power. You've walked through nights that should have broken you, yet here you are, stronger, softer, wiser. That's not coincidence, and that's covenant. God didn't remove you from the storm because you were weak. He let you walk through it to show the world what divine resilience looks like. Every scar you carry now glows as proof of your protection. So when you sense resistance, don't panic. When people distance themselves, don't chase. When plans fall apart, don't mourn. Instead, say this prayer softly. Even when I don't understand the plan, I trust the protection. That single act of surrender is your shield. It keeps your energy pure, your path clear, and your heart open to miracles. So when you sense resistance, don't panic. When people distance themselves, don't chase. When plans fall apart, don't mourn. Instead, say this prayer softly. Even when I don't understand the plan, I trust the protection. That single act of surrender is your shield. It keeps your energy pure, your path clear, and your heart open to miracles. Scorpio, divine justice doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it shows up in subtle peace, in the apology you never needed, the closure that comes from within, the opportunity that finds you without effort. Sometimes it comes as the realization that what once hurt no longer has power. And that truly is the highest form of victory. The ones who try to push you out, they'll soon realize they were never your gatekeepers. The doors you were meant to walk through were divinely assigned, and no one can block what heaven built for you. They'll watch as you rise, and they'll call it a comeback. But you'll know the truth. It's not a comeback, it's fulfillment, it's prophecy unfolding. So keep walking in quiet confidence. Keep your energy clean. Keep choosing peace over pride, compassion over conflict, faith over fear. Because when you do, heaven moves mountains in your favor. You are covered. You are chosen. You are unstoppable. The battle was never between you and them. It was between illusion and truth has won. So stand tall, beautiful soul. The universe isn't asking you to fight anymore. It's asking you to receive. You've earned this calm. You've earned this light. You've earned this freedom. And as you step into this new chapter, may you never forget. They tried to push you out, but God was always pulling you higher.